Hello everyone, welcome back once again to Hollow Knight. In the last video I got my 1800 Essence and the Awakened Dream Nail, which allowed me to get into the White Palace. There are only two enemies to worry about here, and they're not bosses, and they're both relatively early on in the area, and that's well before it turns into Ninja Warrior territory. Kinda glad this guy didn't kill me here, it wouldn't have set the best tone for the rest of the video. These floating bug enemies are placed strategically throughout the palace, and they serve as obstacles or pogo targets to get in the way or help your progress through the palace. I mentioned in the last video that Hive Blood is key for this. Apart from the two enemies, all the damage here is going to be one mask at a time. So at any point I can wait for regen to give back the most recent mask that I lost, and if I happen to have gotten hit multiple times, then I can heal the rest with soul. And Grub Song is going to give me soul every time I take damage, so I shouldn't have any issue staying at or near full health throughout all of this. Mark of Pride is also really helpful for this. It makes the nail longer, and since I'm going to have to pogo off of enemies or spikes and whatnot as I go through here, having a longer nail is going to give me a little bit more room to breathe while I do that. That being said, there won't be anything like that in this first area. It's pretty straightforward. That raised plate right there is the elevator that will take me up to the next section of the palace. But before I can use it, I have to open these metal doors. This lantern opens the doors to the elevator, and I can now reach the second area. There's no real reason to kill these guys, but I remember this whole palace really unfondly, so they can die because of my trauma. There's the elevator to the next area, but this time I have to find 2 lanterns, not just one. The first one is right there, but it's blocked by doors that I'm going to have to open. So after having a little look around, I move farther in and trigger the rage counter. This is where the obstacle course really gets started. From here out, it's blades and spikes and spears galore, where a mistimed jump or dash at any point can cause you to respawn at the most recent ledge that you stood on, and or throw off your rhythm to the point where you start screwing up on simple timing issues that you didn't have any problem with. Hence the rage counter, because each mistake just kinda eats away at you. Now, if you're thinking, wow, this is a bit over the top, but it's not too bad, you haven't seen anything yet. This is just the warm-up. When you see me just kind of standing here after respawning, it's one, to wait for timing on whatever's moving that I want to try and avoid, but it can also be because I'm waiting for the last mask that I lost to regenerate before I start moving again. Now you can kind of get an idea for why these guys need to die. Okay, so that's one lantern down. At this point, I couldn't remember where the second one was, and I kept missing the pathway, so I just sped up the footage of me looking for it. That's also why I didn't add that little death of me sliding down off the map to the rage counter, because I was fully expecting to fall off the edge there. I was just checking to be sure. These short little hallways are the fucking worst, and the rage counter is going to show it. And the sad part is, this is still nothing compared to what's coming. And with that, the elevator to the next level of fun is ready to go. Remember this room and that wall? They're going to be important later when I come back to show an alternate route through this whole place. I'm looking at the rage counter here, and I'm just waiting for my kids' reaction when they see it. When I started prepping this video, the lieutenant was sure that the counter was going to be somewhere around 50, to which I confidently said that it couldn't possibly be more than 30. But what the hell was I thinking? PTSD must have blocked out what really happened. Really not sure why I was thinking I was going to fit through that little tight spot there. This area here is where the lieutenant started to kind of lose it as he was trying to get through this area a few weeks before me. So what happened here I remember pretty well because at this point I was paying attention trying to help him get through it. If it hadn't been for that, the counter likely would have broken 100 just trying to dash across and get the timing down for the bugs and know that I could save myself on that wall, etc. Okay, once you get past those bugs, at this point the end is 2 crystal dashes away. 1 right there with a little wall grab at the end. And 2 with the second one being ridiculously long. And that's it. There was much rejoicing. Alright, so this is key. Once you reach the top, don't grab the other half of the Kingsoul right away. Once you do, you're gonna get booted from the palace. That's the mistake I made in my first playthrough. Off to the right, there's a wall that can be destroyed and a piece of lore to be read, which contributes to being able to reach the 112% game completion and earn the related trophy. I missed this in my first playthrough, and to make matters worse, in my first playthrough I took the path of pain to get to the top of the palace. So when I realized I'd missed this, I lost my shit. I had no interest in going through the White Palace again, and that pretty much killed my desire to put any more time into the game. For a few years at least, until my son started playing it. So, what's the path of pain, you might ask, because we haven't seen it so far in this video. Well, I took a break from the Pantheons in the endgame and went back to get footage to show you guys just how awful the Path of Pain is. So let's get booted and I'll queue up some Eeevil. So, the Path of Pain is an alternate route to the top of the White Palace. The entrance is through a breakable wall just after the second elevator. It grants no reward or trophy of any kind. It only serves to make gamers rage to the point of embedding their game controller into the TV screen. We're talking late 80s, early 90s, Battletoads level difficulty. Shout out to anyone else who remembers the jet ski level. In honor of the Path of Pain, the Rage counter has been upgraded to the Bullshit counter. And I've seeded the counter with the same level that the Rage counter had when I passed the entrance in the earlier footage, so we can all get an accurate feel for how it compares to the default route through the palace. Initially, I planned on adding a growing multiplier to the Bullshit counter since I hate this area so much. But the numbers got so big that they were obscuring the screen and making it hard to see anything. Not unlike the blood rage you're likely to enter into if you attempt this insanity. The worst part of all of this is that you'll realize what you need to do to pass a spot further up that's giving you difficulty, but then it takes what seems like forever to get back there just so you can test what you were thinking. Hence the bullshit. Like right there, where I realized that, okay, the kids were telling me wrong. I don't dash and then pogo off of the enemy. I need to dash and then jump and then pogo. But it takes forever just to get back them, just so I can test that out and work on the timing. To put it in perspective, my initial path through the White Palace took about 40 to 45 minutes from start to finish before editing it down for this video. It was more or less split in half, with the Path of Pain entrance being right in the middle. Alternatively, I could have taken the Path of Pain from that midpoint, and if I had, I'd still be crying in the corner. My initial plan was to spend 20 minutes here for an accurate comparison to the default path, but that flew out the window pretty quickly. And that's not counting the frustration from falling back down to the starting point, which happened easily 24 times. Or the amount of times I accidentally reread that stupid stone that's right there at the starting point when I meant to be jumping. I spent about 40 minutes here in total, and the bullshit count should actually be a minimum of 50 higher than it is, since I lost at least 10 minutes worth of the footage. So just trying to get a foothold into the Path of Pain, I spent the same amount of time as I had on the palace as a whole via the default path. All that time, all that frustration, and I hadn't moved an inch. I was still right at the beginning. I hadn't even made it to the second foothold yet. And that's when I remembered, in my initial playthrough way back when, progressing through the whole Path of Pain was easily a 3 to 4 hour slog. And keep in mind, there's no save point to be seen anywhere in here, so you do it all at once, or you don't do it at all. So bottom line, I may try the Path of Pain again at some point, and if I do, I'll put the run up. But for now, I'm good. I got the lore that I missed last time, I got my Kingsoul, a charm I actually like, even though I don't get to keep it, since I'll have to give it up soon enough for the Void Heart to work on the endgame stuff. On that note, the next video should have a little bit of essence farming, and I believe we'll cover all the non-endgame related trophies that I was still missing. As for this video, we're done. Thanks for watching.